When I began my work at AT&T in 1989, like many other companies, we were hearing from our employees that they couldn't find the child care or the elder care services that they needed to allow them to come to work confident that their loved ones were in a safe and high-quality care. On-site centers were not an option for us. We had thousands of locations around the country, so we decided to look to the community for the answer. We created the Family Care Development Fund, a program we managed with the Communications Workers of America and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the two unions that represented our employees. And we reasoned that the best way to make more and better dependent care available to our employees was not to create services exclusively for them, but to invest in community programs that already existed. And as many of you know, that was the reasoning behind another project that we became involved with at that time, the American Business Collaboration for Quality Dependent Care. During the 6 years that I worked at the AT&T Fund, we made $25 million in grants to community organizations, and the American Business Collaboration made another $136 million in its first decade. Most individual grants that we gave in AT&T were fairly small. We tried to be strategic and fund things that would really make a difference in quality or access. And the strategy paid off. We saw wait lists shorten, care became more readily accessible, we trained thousands of teachers, we made much needed quality improvements in many community programs. And although I believed then, and I still believe, that the money was well spent, in my heart of hearts, I always knew that we were creating a drop in the bucket. We knew that the changes that we were making were incremental, short-term fixes, and that what really needs to happen is investment on a much bigger scale. What we needed then and what we need now is a public policy that recognizes that education begins at birth. The truth is that although we have come a long way in creating more and better early childhood education, there is still a huge gap between what families need and what is available in their communities. And that means that employees are still struggling to find the support they need to come to work and focus on their jobs without worrying about who's taking care of the kids and providing them with the developmental experiences they need to reach their full potential. Business has a long history of supporting K-12 and higher ed. I think most people see that link very clearly between quality education and a strong workforce. They also accept the premise that a quality education system is important to our nation's prosperity. But what's really a mystery to me is why so many people still believe that that education begins on that first day of kindergarten. We have a mountain of evidence to the contrary. We know that what happens during those earliest years, the years before children start kindergarten, strongly influences a child's success in school and in life. And we know that we can get a very good return on our investment for every dollar we spend on early childhood education. We can look to the research of James Heckman, a Nobel laureate in economics, who says that early investment produces the greatest returns in human capital. His research shows quality early childhood programs not only affect school and life success, but that prevention through early childhood development is far more cost-effective than remediation. In the past decade, states have dramatically increased their focus on pre-kindergarten because it works. In fact, I believe that state-funded pre-K is one of education's biggest success stories. The National Institute for Early Education Research at Rutgers recently released a follow-up report on their longitudinal study of preschool in New Jersey. It shows that children in the most disadvantaged communities who participate in the pre-K program make significant gains in literacy, language, math, and science through the 4th and 5th grades. And although the recession has created drastic cuts in many early childhood programs, and many states are poised to lose some of the ground that they've gained in recent years, there is good news, because a significant shift in public policy just might be within our grasp. This year, 27 governors mentioned early childhood in their State of the State addresses. And in what was a thrilling moment for those of us who have worked so many years on children's issues, President Obama, in his State of the Union speech, proposed a comprehensive early learning plan that would expand access to high-quality pre-K for all 4-year-olds, increase the availability of early learning opportunities for infants and toddlers through partnerships between Early Head Start and high-quality community childcare, and expand voluntary home visiting programs that offer support and resources to vulnerable families with young children. The President asked Congress to invest $75 billion over 10 years. And while that is admittedly a huge amount of money, at $10 billion per year, it represents less than 0.3% of the current federal budget. 0.3% of the current federal budget to invest in our best hope for the future. Even in our post-recession world, that sounds like a bargain to me. But as we all know, that path from presidential proposal to signed legislation is a long and rocky one. And in fact, too often lately, it's been more of a dead end. So it's clear there has never been a more important time for advocacy. I know that for many business people, advocating for public policy makes them just a little bit queasy. Companies are understandably careful about how they cash in their political chips. But this opportunity is critical, and a chance like this one may not come again. This proposal will not move forward unless Congress feels the pressure of strong public will. Business has a powerful political voice, and the work-life field has a particularly credible political voice. So I think we should really use it to make the case that we have built over decades of work. The early childhood advocacy community is gearing up for a long, hard fight, and they can use all the help they can get. I really do hope that you'll do all that you can, either as individuals or better yet, with your organizations, to urge Congress to act and make the President's proposal a reality. We are so close to making lasting and real change. It would be a real shame to let it slip away. So thanks again for the opportunity to be here today and for this incredible honor.